Eros and General Salvon want us to act rash. That's why the siege itself was so sudden.
Agreed. We can't be too careful. They've clearly been planning this for quite some time.
I'm scared.
It'll all be okay, Your Imperial Highness. We'll make those bad guys pay for what they've done, okay?
Really?
Of course. Just watch us.
We need to sit down and think through what our next course of action is. The fate of the Empire is hanging in the balance.
But truly, was this the only place we could escape to? Zealous? A complete ghost town in our enemy's territory?
Well, staying in the Empire would have been the most predictable thing to do, especially fleeing to one of our manors. We're lucky they focus so much on the men on the siege of the palace. The border patrols especially spread thin.
Indeed. Once Earl Eros awakens, if he hasn't already, he'll be able to inform General Salvon that we escaped with both the Northern Duke and Empress. They're most likely searching for us both around the palace grounds and back in our regions. We have to act quickly while we have the advantage.
Any thoughts, Eastern Duke? Empress told us you didn't know it was him you were communicating with. Maybe you picked up something from his letters. Are you awake?
Don't get mad at Duchess Stasia or Duchess Kiyoko. I know I'm one of the last people you want to see right now, and I would be lying if I said I didn't somewhat deserve that hatred, but just let me explain. A couple minutes is all I'm asking for.
Northern Duke, if we truly believed him a threat to the Empire, he wouldn't be here right now. Trust me. We were just as skeptical as you are right now, but you see Princess Kazumi here? As Earl Eros said, he did lock the Eastern Duke in his room the night of the finale ball, but Earl Eros did so because the Eastern Duke refused to go along with his plan once he discovered not just that Earl Eros was behind the letters, but the lengths the Earl was willing to go to. And when the siege happened, the Eastern Duke did something invaluable for both the Empress and the Empire, saving Princess Kazumi.
True, it does not forgive what I've done to you, but I never truly wanted to hurt the Empress. I didn't know the person communicating with me was willing to go as far as staging a coup. I swear. Earl Eros tempted me with both power, renown, and riches. And once you were chosen instead of me, my anger just couldn't take it. I was hateful and full of spite, and I allowed that to cloud my judgment. I am one of the 6 and loyal to the Empire endlessly, and maybe someday we can be friends, but for now, I'll do everything in my power to prove my loyalty.
Trust us. One wrong move, and the Eastern Duke would no longer retain the title as one of the 6. But as you can see, the Eastern Duke is just as angry as you are that the Earl attempted to hurt the Empress in such a way.
Excuse me?
Your Highness?
I think my sister's back now.
I'm back, everyone.
Your Majesty?
Welcome back, Your Majesty. It's truly okay, Northern Duke. I sort of forced their hand. I just needed to get out. To clear my head, you know? And look, I brought back a bunch of delicious treats. Ooh, fresh croissants! Kazumi, go to the bedroom for a second, okay?
Okay.
Indeed. I allowed the Eastern Duke to stay with us. He saved Kazumi. Besides, this is not the time to be divided. I expect him to show his apology not through words, but through his actions.
Indeed, the Empress's kindness knows no bounds. She has forgiven me, but I am aware that her forgiveness only goes so far, Northern Duke.
Oh, now that we have that cleared up, and now that the Empress is back, let us acknowledge the elephant in the room, shall we?
Indeed. All the signs were there. The frequentness of the Earl's letter exchanges, along with his priority to keep what was hidden in them secretive unless it benefited his narrative?
The magic attacks merely on the islands, a place Earl Eros has power over.
Along with the Eros family's reluctance to banish Violet. A clear motive.
We all believed it was strange. How vocal Earl Eros' family and himself were about bringing Violet back, and then suddenly almost forgetting about it?
They didn't forget. Instead, we're plotting the revenge that would take place years later.
It must have hit him harder than we believed. I didn't know he blamed me that tremendously. I found his sudden change in attitude to the eccentric Earl Eros we now know to be strange. But I'll admit, I was too focused on my own grieving to notice his. A mistake I now realize.
Nevertheless, even if he felt betrayed, that is not a reasonable motive for treachery. Even if the Earl's family felt their compensation, as one of the six wasn't fair for their level of contribution to Athenius Ryu's rise to power during the Empire's founding.
Still, it's not your fault, Empress.
The Northern Duke is correct. None of that was controlled by you, nor decided by your actions, Your Majesty.
Indeed, Northern Duke. What is our next step?
I agree with the Northern Duke.
Goodness, you? Agree with the Northern Duke?
You wanted me to prove I'm changing, so I'm changing.
Yeah, your attitude is the same. Good to know that our Duke Nicholas is still somewhere in there.
They, the Kingdom regime, along with Earl Eros, believe they have won, and are currently focusing their attention on securing the capital. They are yet to have complete control of the Empire, though, so time is of the essence.
Of course, we can use their distraught state to our advantage if we act quick enough and strategically as well.
Something to say, Your Majesty?
I thought I wouldn't share this, to not dishearten us, but earlier when I was purchasing food in town, I heard that the Kingdom regime had declared all the heads of the 6 families dead, caught up in the siege.
Those liars. They'll do anything to make themselves appear stronger than they truly are.
Although it's clearly a tactic to lower morale for the Empire's citizens. They know they haven't found our bodies yet. Even if Earl Eros is still unconscious and isn't telling them of our escape.
What a lowly tactic.
It is certainly a statement.
I know I can't reveal that we are indeed alive. It would be the most illogical thing to do, but why do I? If they believe I'm dead, we're dead. Everyone. They'll believe they've been abandoned.
The Northern Duke is right. The tactics were low and unbecoming of Empire nobility. We, on the other hand, don't need such pitiful tactics like trickery to win.
Indeed. Eros may have won the battle, but the war has just begun.
So, what is our next move?
Earl Eros was always the arrogant one underneath that facade. He would cover up his emotions of jealousy and hatred with jokes and jests. The most prideful of the 6, despite being the weakest of us.
Okay.
That's why he'll do it all properly.
He wants a coronation, with the Empire being so unstable?
That sounds like him. With how theatrical he is, it would make less sense if he didn't want one.
I understand that, Northern Duke. He was closest to you after all. To be betrayed by a friend that close to you? I'm truly sorry.
Indeed. He was your friend. Realizing he had ulterior motives all this time, I also find it hard to face someone I've known and trusted for so long.
Well, I have no pity for Eros. Don't you get it? This has been his plan from the very beginning. The night the Empress and I fought, the night you overheard us. Who do you think told me to steal the Imperial Seal? I was just too blinded by power to put 2 and 2 together, which will always be my biggest regret. Yes, I truly never knew the person I was communicating through letters the entire time. He just got into my head about the Empress and about what I was willing to protect. I grew up with Kanade, and I believe she was too fragile for this job. I saw her break the night the late Emperor and Imperial Consort were murdered, and I didn't want to ever see her like that again.
That isn't your decision, Nicholas, whether I can handle this position or not.
I know. I know now. You're anything but fragile. You wouldn't have fallen for the lies he spewed me. And you care about the Empire more than anybody I know. There isn't anyone more suited for the position.
Surprising. Even the Northern Duke now believes we shouldn't linger on the past.
Well, the 6 families have saved the Empire before. We can do it again. Even if we're 1 family short, he was the weakest of us anyways.
Which is why we'll need help.
Huh? Help?
From who?
Everyone remember the plan we discussed. We have no room for trial and error here. Remember, Northern Duke, you have to keep your face hidden and draw no attention to yourself. You are perhaps even more recognizable than the Empress herself. Hopefully, the info my men collected is correct.
Would you please stop giggling, Duchess?
I apologize. It's just maybe you should try the commoner lifestyle more often. It's quite a look on you.
I could say the same about you. I could say that about all of us. The decorated 6 in potato sacks.
Hey, was all that Duchess Stasia and I could put together so late notice? It's not like my finale ball gown along with your party attire blends in with the crowd at a tavern.
Alright, quiet down. We're here. Everyone remember, no titles. And please, stick to the plan. Please.
Okay.
You got it.
Let's go in then.
What can I get for you?
Can I get a peppermint tea?
We'll hold off on drinks for now. We're waiting for a friend.
If you say so.
Ugh, what is that stench?
Do not tell me you've entered a tavern expecting scents of dewdrops and sunshine.
It's simply putrid.
Quiet down, will you? Everyone will hear you complaining.
Says the girl who tried to order a peppermint tea. You're not exactly blending in either.
Black, what can I get for you this time?
My man. Just the usual. Rough days all.
I hear you. With the kingdom and the empire going at it, I feel we'll have many more rough days ahead of us. I'll go get those drinks for you.
Northern Duke,
Thank you.
is that him?
He's a lot younger than I thought he'd be, with the reputation he has.
So, do we just go up to him?
Isn't that suspicious?
Well, what else are we supposed to do?
We just have to approach him, right?
In simple terms, yes. But we have to do it in a fashion that isn't suspicious. Your Majesty.
Hello there. Mind if I sit?
Sure, pretty thing. Why not?
If you want this mission to work out, Duke, I suggest you stop staring daggers at the man.
What brings you to this part of town, milady? Not exactly the ideal location I would imagine a lady like you would spend her time in.
And why is that? My attire is quite similar in station to yours.
Similar in station. Your speech is giving you away. Now tell me, why are you wearing your winter clothes?
Winter?
Anyone who's ever lived in this part of the kingdom knows that sheepskin cloaks are ideal for protection from the cold and rain. But otherwise, in the summer months where the rain is rare, they are unnecessary, as sheep or livestock in general are expensive. Let us drop the act, shall we? You were clearly here for a reason, so let's not waste both our nights pretending we're not who we are.
Okay, I can do that. Zoris Black.
You know me.
Heard of you. And I have a proposition. But if we are to talk, it can't be here.
And why would I?
Well, look who we got here. Clint, can you believe this?
I almost can't. Our friend Zoris Black. I haven't seen you since... Oh, yes. Since you convinced us to rob the treasury of Lord Bow and ran away with all of our gold.
Not quite yet, Northern Duke. But be on your guard. I don't know if it's best to expose ourselves quite yet.
Well, the money's gone. You bunch would have wasted it on beer and women anyways.
What about we call it even if you give us your little lady friend over here?
She isn't mine to give, you bastards.
Well, when have I ever restrained myself merely because something isn't mine?
Back off.
I advise you to step away from the lady.
Now who are you? Friends of Blacks?
I wouldn't say friends.
And who are you to tell me what to do?
I don't know who all you people are, but if we are to talk like the lady suggested, or even be alive to have options, we need to go, like right now. Regardless if you are a person who can beat these two or not, look around. All the men watching us right now? They're all in the same business and always owe each other favors. Besides, you and your gang here coming all cloaked and attempting to be inconspicuous? Which you failed at, by the way. I doubt you want to draw any more attention than you already have.
Well, what will it be?
You all need to follow my lead, okay? I sort of got you all into this mess, so I'll at least get you all out of it.
Follow you?
Stop complaining.
Well, it's been nice catching up with you boys, but I think it's time for us to go.
Where do you think you're going?
You come back here!
Follow them, boys!
We just need to make it into Central Zulus. No one knows the roads of Zulus more than I do. Stay close! We're taking a left up ahead.
We're losing most of them.
Just a little farther. Ah, right here.
I haven't run like that since the physical test at the Imperial Academy. One moment.
Thank you. We all owe you our gratitude.
It's fine. Besides, it was my past that caused the problem in the first place. How about instead of gratitude, you all tell me the truth? The whole truth. Your impersonation of the common folk was mediocre at best.
I was never one to pretend to be lesser than I truly am.
You are correct. We are not who we are pretending to be. But with reason.
I'll be the judge of that. Let's start off with the hooded one, shall we? We're revealing identities, so perhaps it's only fair we reveal our faces as well.
Only if you feel comfortable, of course, Northern Duke.
What a turn of events! The renowned hero of the kingdom! Everyone said you went back to the Empire to end up getting married to the Empress or something. But I didn't believe it. I knew you would never... Wait. Don't tell me.
Don't tell you that I'm the Empress?
Wait. If you're the Empress, then you all must be... the heads of the six.
Indeed. Duchess Kiyoko of the South at your service. This is Duchess Stasia of the West and Duke Nicholas of the East. Obviously missing Earl Eros for, well...
The kingdom regime declared you all dead.
Indeed they did, but this wouldn't be the first time the kingdom regime has lied, so it's expected.
Truth is, Zoris Black, the reason we were at the tavern today, we were looking for you.
For me? You were all looking for me? I have no idea why you're in the kingdom, let alone why you've come to find me. But perhaps these conversations might be better off in a place more private. Follow me.
Haven't we done enough of that already?
Oh, shush.
We're getting close. Sorry, it is quite a walk from Central Zulus. Watch your step. The abandoned parts of town have quite the winding roads.
Duchess Stasia, my legs.
You'll be fine.
When's the last time I've walked this much anywhere?
Sure thing, hero. Ask away.
I would like to know that as well.
Yeah, my men and I knew there were rumors of Solus King loyalists going around the kingdom. We had no idea they were being reported to the Empire. But we did find them strange. At the very least, suspicious. Well, if what you say is true, the rumors were most likely blown completely out of proportion. Spot on. There were a significantly larger number of kingdom stations that claimed to be attacked. When it's just your men and your stations, it's a lot easier to claim you were attacked. The Empire's soldiers were completely outnumbered. Not just by the kingdom soldiers, but by kingdom citizens. They would have spread any rumors for a buck, even if it was from the regime. Yep, I guess both General Salvin and Earl Eros used their influence to convince the world tensions were rising. Sorry about Earl Eros' betrayal, by the way. You all grew up together, right?
That we did. It clearly didn't mean much to him, though.
Well, I don't know his motivations, or that he was even allied with the General Salvin that tightly. I sent some men to spy on the Salvin when I discovered most loyalist attacks were faked, and they told me that Eros and Salvin were in constant correspondence. But knowing that it was choosing season for the Empress, I figured their letters were just civil conversation at best. You all okay back there?
Just jolly.
Entirely fine.
As we eventually talk somewhere more private, I do want to be more open with you about the current situation. As I said before, we approached you for a reason.
So, am I right in saying you've heard of my thievery before? And you still seek me out? Although you know I don't like the Empire. I mean, I've stolen from you guys for crying out loud.
Yes, but the report said you gave those supplies away to kingdom citizens who needed it. Besides, you don't like the kingdom either, correct? I figured it was just a matter of who reached out first.
Who reached out? Wait a second. You think I would just follow whoever happened to find me in a dingy tavern first?
No, not at all. I'm sorry. That did not come out the way I intended.
Well, it's true. I have both grudges against the kingdom and the empire. Either for hurting the people I care about directly, or standing on the sidelines like it isn't their problem.
No, Northern Duke, he's right. I was so worried about the big picture of the empire and kingdom relations that I didn't for a second think who that would affect outside the empire's borders.
Your Majesty, you've been the best ruler this empire could ever ask for. But isn't it a bit unreasonable to wish to be the best ruler for those not under your rule?
The Duchess is correct. In a perfect world, every kingdom would thrive at the expense of no one, but that isn't realistic, Empress.
The Eastern Duke is being a bit harsh, but surprisingly, he's right. You can only do so much, Your Majesty.
Thank you for your words of consolation, but I know I can do more. And to you, Sir Black, I apologize for, as you said, standing on the sidelines. I do not know the specifics of how the kingdom regime has treated you during your time here, but I am open to hearing about it.
Call me Zoris. And before we get to all that sappy stuff, I want to show you all something. Empress, the renowned hero of the kingdom, Eastern Duke, Duchess Stasia and Duchess Kiyoko. Can I trust you?
You can.
Of course.
Definitely.
I won't break anyone's trust so easily again.
Good to know. This secret cannot leave your mouths. At least not until the kingdom regime is no longer in control of this part of the continent.
Okay, we understand.
What is he?
I can hear
People? You've kept hidden?
I'm no mage, so I can't claim the spell for myself.
Runestones. Ones with the capability of keeping so many people hidden. How?
It was a pretty penny, but completely worth it. It protects almost 200 kingdom citizens, not counting my men. It's been a couple days since we've done a count, but my men and I are finding new kingdom citizens to rescue every couple of weeks now. The kingdom has just gotten worse and worse under the regime's rule, as you know, hero. So this place has definitely been busy. A little haven in a kingdom that no doubt is going to get worse now that the regime has taken over the empire.
amazing. Activating the runestones makes it appear as though there's nothing but dense forest here, as well as blocks out the sound, leaving no trace.
It is spectacular.
I believed you were a man who will listen to our offers simply because of what could be in store for you. I'm happy I was proven wrong. So you do have a heart in there, sir. I mean, Zoris.
Quickly, let's enter so I can reactivate the spell. It's best to talk once the camp is hidden.
Hey, Zoris is back!
Hey, Black! Welcome back!
Good to be back.
And who is that with them?
Wait, I recognize the guy behind them. That's...
The hero!
No way! Black brought the hero back to the kingdom?
And who are these other folks?
Hello.
What a crowd.
They're all friends of mine. You hear that? Meaning we all have to be polite. Okay?
Understood.
We can do polite.
You hungry, boss? My mom's cooking up a mad stew back at my tent.
Maybe in a minute, Doris.
Boss, you're back. Did the job go by faster than expected? You're back a whole day early.
Something came up. I'll see all you boys later. Go eat, okay? Don't wait up for me.
If you say so.
Bye then.
Bye.
Did the objective change? I thought your mission was to gather information about the conflict between the kingdom and empire at the tavern in northern Zoris.
How'd you manage to rescue so many more civilians?
Well, actually, in seeking out information about the conflict, instead, the conflict came to me.
Boss, you're back. With company. Who are these people?
Hi there.
Hello.
What do you mean by the conflict, boss?
Whoa. Look at their sorry attempt at peasant clothing. Are you really who you say you are? I'd be careful, boss. Sheepskins in the summer? They're basically radiating trouble.
Be nice, Seven. If the boss brought them in here, that's good enough for me.
You are far too trusting, Finn.
Well, Finn, Seven, we've actually gone over the suspecting part. Get Lenny, we're meeting in the central tent.
You got it, boss.
Sure, I'll get her. Just be careful with these folks.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Besides, they are correct.
How are we supposed to know sheepskins aren't in season?
Goodness.
They seem invigorating to be around.
Seven doesn't come to trust people quickly. We can thank the regime for that. Come, we can finally talk once we get to the central tent.
I do want to say, Zoris, that all of this, it's really incredible. Seriously. You did this all by yourself?
Well, I can't claim full accountability. Seven's been an incredible help from the beginning. He's been with me for the longest out of him, Finn, and Lenny, who you'll meet soon. He's worked hard, gathering information and rumors of families who needed our help, abandoned by the kingdom. And Finn, who we found alone after his village was ransacked by thieves who paid the regime to ignore their crimes, helped me with the more strength aspect of rescuing citizens.
Well, that's amazing. Doing all this under the regime's nose.
We try. There's always more we can do. Speedy, you all beat us here.
Welcome back, boss.
Glad to be back, Lenny. Feel free to sit. I wouldn't blame any of you if your legs gave out.
So, are we going to address the elephant in the room? Those clearly aren't kingdom citizens you brought back.
Seven.
Are you questioning the boss's judgments?
No. Then
let's talk to them first. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation.
Thank you. Although I almost can't believe these people's identities myself.
Who are they?
You may.
Hello, I'm Duchess Kiyoko Esmeralda, Duchess and head of the Empire's southern region.
I am Duchess Stasia. I govern the Empire's western region.
I'm the Eastern Duke. As you probably guessed by now, I'm the head of the Empire's East.
And that would make you... Wait. I recognize that face. You're the kingdom's hero. Saw your picture in the paper a bunch of times.
You're also a Northern Duke?
Of course you are.
And that would make you...
My name is Kanade Rio, and I'm the Empress of the Empire. Thank you all for your hospitality so far.
The Empress? You brought the Empress to the camp. Sure. The kingdom's eventual downfall has been on our main goal. But I thought we agreed the Empire was just as bad.
And what do you mean by that?
Sure. The regime has been busy taking our homes and crops when we couldn't pay unlivable taxes. letting crimes happen, no matter how small the bribe, or allowing families to die off in times of famine and drought. But the Empire? Oh, the Empire just stood by, knowing all this was happening, declaring it wasn't their problem, all because of a lousy border!
7. We're here to hear them out, to at least know what they're asking of us.
What they're asking of us? We were all one people years ago, until that soulless king was overthrown. And we're paying for it. Have been paying for it for generations. All because our ancestors were caught on the wrong side of an imaginary line. Not all of us supported the soulless king, you know. We just didn't have time or resources to move before the continent split.
7, this isn't the time or the place.
No, he's right.
Empress Kanade.
The Empire's feigned ignorance about the kingdom's state, hoping that if they merely stayed on good terms with the regime, all would be well for the Empire. But merely the Empire. We did indeed used to be one people, under one ruler. But why should we allow the wrongdoings of one king to decide where we stand with each other? Seeing the families in this very camp, it reminds me far too much of the families back in the Empire. Families I vouched to protect as the Empire's ruler. I cannot speak for the rulers before me, but what I do know is that we can act now to change the mistakes that happened in the past. Once I take the throne back from General Salvon and Eros, I believe the Empire has lots of making up to do.
Maybe your side is worth hearing out, Empress. What do you need? Men? Supplies?
For now, a tour. I want to meet everyone, hear their stories.
That I can do. Northern Duke, Eastern Duke, Duchess Kiyoko, Duchess Stasia. Get to know 7, Lenny and Finn here. They'll be able to get you anything you need in preparation for our coup. 7, be nice, okay?
Follow me, everyone.
We'll meet back here for dinner, okay?
Sure thing.
Okay.
Understood.
Careful. Mr. Dark, Tall, and Morally Gray might just steal your girl.
Really? Men are so foolish.
The Empress looks at you differently than she does everyone else. And if you haven't already noticed, so do you.
Well, before we talk business, we have to prepare dinner, of course.
Indeed. Every conversation's better with a hot bowl of stew.
Stew?
The hero and the Eastern Duke can help me with collecting mushrooms.
Ugh, mushrooms.
Let's get these Empire nobles to work then.
And then, Zoris snuck an apple into the kingdom soldier's pocket and convinced the soldier superior that the soldier stole it!
That one always gets me.
There's no way that worked.
Honestly, I didn't know how Finn's laughter didn't give me away.
Ooh, boss, you should tell that story of when you crossed paths with the hero here.
You two have met before?
Oh, right. The Northern Duke did mention you both crossed paths.
Oh, please. We've heard this story countless times.
But it only gets better every time boss tells it. What do you mean it was nothing, hero? I think Zoris raved about it for days after you both met.
Hey, that's a bit of an exaggeration.
It is not.
Anyways, do you wish to tell the story, hero, or should I? Okay then. Well, I believe it was several months ago. Your reputation wasn't as impressive as it is now, but it definitely was getting there. Unfortunately, the nickname the Black Thief has followed me from the early years of my life, and at the time I was definitely worthy of the title Thief. I had a plan with my old gang to steal from the mayor of Zulus, one of the regime's men. And, well, he wasn't happy about his valuables going missing from his manor. The next day, he put an announcement in Zulu's town square claiming that if no one gave themselves up, he would increase the taxes an insane amount, taking our belongings or crops if we were unable to pay. But back then I was a coward, and my little friends I committed the crime with weren't any better. With no one giving themselves up, the town head with his squadron of regime soldiers began to go through every house, demanding the money. And if they weren't giving it to him, let's just say the regime soldiers were anything but friendly. My mother and father passed away years ago when I was a child, so the house my friends and I stayed in thankfully only had us in it. We weren't the first house on the street in any direction, but the town head must have been suspicious of us. It would make sense. If we had any chance to disrespect the regime for what they were doing to our town, we used that opportunity. So they broke in, smashed the door down with their swords, asking for both the taxes and the stolen valuables. Both things we didn't have. Knowing they would have been looking for the mayor's things, we sold them right away in the neighboring town, believing he would start at the north or south going through houses. We thought we had time to gather our things up and leave. The funny thing is that even with selling his belongings, we still couldn't pay the new tax increases. That's just how impossible they were.
I love this next part.
But before they could utter another word after threatening us, a lightning-fast figure disarmed them in an instant. I barely blinked and their weapons were on the ground, away from our throats.
It was you, Northern Duke?
Indeed, it was the hero. He saved us in the nick of time. It was amazing. Up till that point, I had never seen any regime soldiers so scared. I don't know if you remember, Hero, but I told you I was the Black Thief that day, and you told me to make myself worthy of that name. I didn't know what that meant until the next day. Someone reported that there was a multitude of gold and treasure left at the mayor's manor. The exact amount of all of Zulu's citizens' overdue taxes after the increase. Well, gold along with what I heard to be every threatening note from a certain hero.
All I've heard of the Duke's adventures were through newspapers and rumors going around society. But only the super flashy ones. Nothing this personal. You really did help a lot of people, didn't you?
That he did. I mean, Zoris would talk on and on about you. But Violet? We often have to interrupt her raving on and on about the hero during meal times, or she wouldn't get anything down.
Violet?
Finn!
You all knew Violet. As in Violet Arrows?
That we did.
She came from the Empire, right? Judging by the last name, a relative of Earl Eros. She was a medic in Zulus before the camp started. Zulus had it worse than most towns. Being closer to the Empire border, the regime leaders sent out here were the worst of the worst. Before she passed, she saved Lenny over here. After Lenny's mother was unable to grow enough crops for the regime, they punished Lenny's family by striking her eyes. Being the best archer on this side of the border, that devastated her. Luckily, Lenny was close enough to Central Zulus and Violet's services that Violet was miraculously able to save one of her eyes.
It's true. I thought I would never see her again. Although it took me a couple of years to get my shooting back to what it was. I can proudly say I'm almost there.
That sounds like Violet, all right.
Indeed.
I'm happy to hear she helped you, Lenny. After all, that was her dream. I think I owe all of you an apology.
Us?
An apology?
What for, Your Majesty?
Duke Nicholas.
I actually believe we all owe you an apology. From a young age, we dehumanized those on this side of the continent. All we learned was that those who supported the Soulless King stayed on this side, and those who supported Athenius Ryu and the Six lived in the Empire. Now, I realize it's wrong to keep the borders the way they are. Why should you all be punished for the actions of your ancestors, and us rewarded as if we ourselves did anything to deserve it.
Thank you, Nicholas. He's right, and so are you, Zoris. We used to be one people, and seeing the way the regime has treated you, all of you, I don't think I could live with myself if I merely took back the Empire's throne and left you all solely because other people claim it isn't my problem.
I agree, actually. I previously believed it unrealistic that an Empress should merely focus on what's within her own borders. But you all didn't deserve to suffer the way you did. And an imaginary line doesn't justify the pain you've been through.
Agreed.
I'm happy you think that.
Maybe you all aren't so bad after all.
So, what do you need? I don't know why you feel you can trust the Black Thief from the Kingdom. But if you all are being sincere, I want to help in any way I can.
A thief wouldn't rescue families, help needy kids, or work to keep them hidden from the regime. I can tell you all want change, and I know we can help bring it about.
Well, I guess supper is turning into a strategy meeting.
From my family to yours, let's bring down the regime in Eros, once and for all.
Well, we do need another family now that Eros betrayed us. 6 families, down to 5, now back to 6. The more the merrier, I guess.
Okay, 7. Get us a map of the continent, along with some quills.
Northern and Eastern Duke. They're both knowledgeable in tactics and strategies, so I'll be relying on you both in planning this coup.
What were you thinking, Empress?
As we discussed previously, we know Earl Eros is planning a coronation, meaning him and the regime will be...